these are some examples of our requests for help were met with a blank stare. It's not my department, I don't know, please stop there, I'll transfer you to where it happens, etc., etc. So American companies didn't listen to the customers, acted as if they don't care what their customers thought, felt, or experienced. The attitude of too many employees was, this would be a great business if it weren't for all the damn customers. So, Buck Rogers, Tom Peters, all these guys are gurus in service sector, and they said, satisfactory service is done near a miracle. General service in America stinks, Tom Peters said. So in the 80s, American companies began to respond because suddenly they realized that their business was not doing well. So they began to respond to customer concerns about poor service by implementing a variety of service improvement programs and making promises to consumers to improve. These are some of the examples of what people started creating a listening culture to improve based on customer feedback and some complaint resolution, etc. So you can see IBM moved 33,000 employees from manufacturing and into areas of marketing, programming, and so you could see the shift towards service. Genuine partner in business. Merck created a lot of training on this entire thing. Motorola changed the compensation system more on meritocracy rather than tenure, and guest satisfaction index, as shown from mail and phone survey, became a factor for calculation of bonus. FedEx came out with the Golden Falcon, formal awards function, and the Bravo Zulu program, where a manager could gift $100 or equivalent through a free dinner as instant recognition for good service. Went to extraordinary lengths to fix anything that went wrong. So when due to a FedEx employee's mistake, a Europe-bound packet was left back, a courier was dispatched with the packet on a commercial flight to ensure on time delivery. I'll give you an example. There was a reception boy at one of our hotels who got a call at 3 in the morning. And this call came from a gentleman who was checked out. This time when I was in Delhi, I was working in a hotel in Delhi. And this receptionist got this call at night. There were very few people on night shift. And he got a call from this gentleman in Chennai who said, listen, I checked out of your hotel this morning. I'm in Chennai. I've left in my safe in my room some very important documents which I have to present in Singapore to my board tomorrow, which is already, it was 3 in the morning. And he says, I'm taking this 4:30 flight to Singapore, but I'm just lost. I don't know what to do. And he told the receptionist, he says, listen kid, I don't know, I'm just so upset that I'm trying to tell you this because I think I've lost my job, I've lost my... And he was really, that guy was shaking. So this guy just told him, he says, sir, what time do you have to do it in Singapore? He said, about 11:30. He said, don't worry, let me see what I can do. This boy, and this all stems from the E of the Beck Act. He was empowered. He didn't tell, obviously 3 in the morning, he didn't want to disturb either me or his direct boss, etc. Just booked a ticket to Singapore. He booked a ticket to Singapore with our sister concern, the travel house. He went to Singapore, reached on time to that customer. That guy almost fainted when he saw him, and he gave it to him. That guy, of course, that's another thing. He rewarded him, and I think he almost kissed his feet. And then, of course, he gave him his whole ticket and reimbursement and all that. But this boy, took that decision, which not only saved that man and his job and his company and his contract, but what it did is that he made a great friend for ITC. Today that company gives us maximum business in all our hotels because of this entire episode. And I think they've gone and talked about this to everybody they meet. So sometimes it's these acts which actually create the real difference. So Domino's Pizza, as you can see, they paid 10,000 mystery customers to buy 12 pizzas through the year and evaluate quality and service. Quality, suddenly, the entire Malcolm Baldrige and the Kaizen and the Six Sigma and everything came in where everyone wanted to understand customer feedback and how important it is. So it's services. Tom Peters said, how dominant are services? Would you believe 96% of us fly service trades? 79% of us work in the official service sector. 90% of the 19% employed in so-called manufacturing do service work. So all he's trying to tell you is that 79% plus 90% or 19% equals 96%. Someone doing It's all about service. Okay? This is a little example of how important on the revenue stream service has become. The combination of stagnant product demand and an expanding installed base has pushed economic value downstream, away from manufacturing and towards providing services required to operate and maintain products. So creating service excellence. Now that we've told you the real importance of how service is to us, how do we create service excellence? So one is, of course, every customer has his needs and wants. What is the difference between need and want? We'll come to that. Somebody?
Need is what you require. Want is something you desire.
Very well said. Very well said. So need is what you require, and want is something you desire, or even probably it's unexpressed, and when it happens, it's unbelievable. Then, of course, from the needs and wants, you make a service design. Now, from service design, you also ensure that you track the failure mechanisms, and here the human factor comes in. And then, of course, there's continuous quality enhancement, and then you go back to the needs and wants, and you make a fresh blueprint. So that's how you create it, and we'll go into each one. So let's do needs and wants. Giving customers what they want isn't nearly as hard as finding out what they want, right? So in a maximum level of understanding on the y-axis and the reactive and a proactive approach on the x-axis, we realize that level 1, which is low on understanding and reactive, is unsolicited complaints. Where there are complaints unsolicited, the organization which really doesn't care. Level 2 comes to some level of understanding, and the approach is moving from reactive to proactive. So you have a service desk hotline, you have some unstructured surveys, you have network sales data analysis, etc., etc. So it's moving towards proactive and a level of understanding. Now, complete customer understanding is when there is a high level of understanding and a very proactive approach. So focus group benchmarking, personnel interviews, designing surveys, mystery shoppers, etc., etc. So, you're focusing a lot in listening to your customer. All right? So, now during the conference or this workshop or this talk where we are attending, this actually is an example from a hotel. So participants were requested to list the 5 most important things they expect during a tea break. Okay? But don't expect a tea break on this one. The 5 things that the participants listed were availability of hot tea coffee, ability to move through the line quickly, availability of clean and ample toilet facilities, availability of telephones for any urgent calls because mobiles are taken away, ample space to stand and talk with other participants. So this was the 5 things that the participants, the customer wanted. Now they said, let us ask the service team, the staff of the hotel, what they think are the 5 things that are the most important. Do you think that it was the same? Well, so when they asked the same question, the answer came from the service team: availability of hot tea, coffee, extra consumables, biscuits, cookies, pakoras, samosas, attractive display, where you put all the bells and whistles, toppings on the vanilla flavor, attractive display in the serving area, clean and undamaged china, silverware, clean table covers and carpets. Now look at the gap. So if you don't have an understanding on what your customer really wants, then you're giving something which is not going to, even what she rightly said, if the need is not established, then where are you going to go to the other end of the continuum of want, right? So first you listen and understand what is it that the customer really wants. And then you can definitely ensure that there is no gap between promise and delivery. So levels of customer expectations. So today, it's all about customer expectations. Now level 1 is a very base expectation, minimum performance levels, always assume present, implicit. Okay? Level 2 is options and trade-offs available for selection by customers, is more explicit, where I'll give you examples in our restaurants, etc. as we go on. Level 3 is, of course, value-added characteristics and features that customers did not expect. It's more latent. Value add. I'll give you an example. The other day I went to a hotel in a very humid city. So the moment I came out of the car, the car is air conditioned. I come out on the main floor with my spectacles are fogged. The doorman meets me and then has a tray with some cloths to clean the spectacles. Now that is fantastic. The other day I went to a hotel in a restaurant, and proudly it is one of ours. The guest who I had could not read the menu because he had forgotten his spectacles. And immediately the restaurant brought out a big tray of -1, -2, -3, various things. So, immediately he could view it and read it, So, what I'm trying to get at is that there has to be certain latent desires where you value add your characteristics. I remember in a banquet hall, one of the leading industrialist wives, she was about to leave the party because she had her shoe strap down. She was so embarrassed, she was leaving. So I asked her, I said, where are you going? And she said, no, I'm very distinguished. So she was about to leave, and I said, give me 2 minutes. And I called my housekeeper and I said, I think she's 5 size. See what you can do. And this girl comes with this beautiful basket, which has various sets of shoe sizes and shoes, which kind of fit the color of the sari she was wearing. And this lady was so delighted. It's 10 years ago, and still she talks about it every day. So that is, the level of customer expectations today. So another dimension as needs and wants. Now there's a zone of tolerance. Zone of tolerance is that, of course, you accomplish all the needs, but somewhere in the center of needs and wants, that is the zone of tolerance that the customer will. If it goes beyond the zone of tolerance, it goes to the right side, it's fantastic. It's a wow. But if it's on the left side, then there's going to be dust. So customer dissatisfaction is on the other end of the needs, and customer delight is right on the other end of the wants, and in the center zone of tolerance is what we call customer satisfaction. Now, so that's the needs and wants story. Now, based on this, the service design is built. So, service design is all part of the service ethos. The culture has to be, you provide a philosophy of service. Firstly, you keep it very simple. You don't make it so mystical that, it's like rocket science to most of the people who work in the hotel or the service industry. So it's simple, fundamental, durable, and long-term. This is something that you must do when you create a service design, right? Tasks must be viewed as interdependent, interactive systems. Services can be engineered on a drawing board. This ensures synergy and hence reinforces the desired positioning. Now, service positioning. Now, if you look at here are some examples of lower complexity divergence, current process, and higher complexity divergence. So, in a restaurant, no reservation is a lower complexity situation. Current process, you take the reservation. You take a reservation and say, okay, what time are you coming? How many people? Higher complexity is specific table selection. The table by the window or by the river, overlooking the ocean, etc. Self-seating, menu on blackboard. Current process, seat guests, give menus. Higher complexity, recite menu, describe entrees and specials. Each item is described beautifully so that you can visualize and mouth water and salivate. You know what's coming. Lower is eliminate, serve, the current is serve water and bread. And then, of course, you have an assortment, hot breads and hors d'oeuvres, on the table prior to your order coming. So these are, ladies and gentlemen, where a restaurant gives you just 4 choices. Then the next one for the main course is giving you 15 choices. But the one which is really the higher complexity, you expand to 20 choices, you flambate a dish, you get the chef to debone the fish right on your table, looks beautiful on a guéridon trolley, prepare the sauces at the table, and then serve it as the topping. So it's all, at the end of the day, I would say chefs on display, rather than, invisible chefs. So these are some of the examples of how service positioning has moved, and where you have to work on whether you're on a very lower complexity. It's fine. There are these mom and shop places or just some sidewalk cafes, which you don't expect to be, giving you a high complexity. And then there are the fine dining restaurants, which give you all the higher complexity and divergence. So it's luxury, and the other one is just, vanilla flavor. So based on research, observe actual usage. Needs and wants, trace the cycle of service, map the attributes on a service blueprint. Many good managers, when they are observing in their restaurant, they are not looking at inside. They're looking when the plates are coming back, how empty is the plate? When it is going into the garbage, if the guest has ordered 2 fish and chips and there are 2 fillets, and 1 fillet is coming back, obviously the experience is not good. So then you find out what happened, why didn't you eat it? Is there something else I can get you? And you kind of know what are your moving items and what are your slow moving items. And you get rid of them in the course of time. So everything observe, and observe, right? Now, service cycle. There's a cycle of service which happens right from the airport. Service, this is a typical cycle for a hotel. Now, what happens to me? The moment I have told myself I'm a rock star, see, rock star in my mind is a man. Can you ever think of a rock star failing? Can you ever think of a rock star depressed? Not have a rock star depressed. Can you ever think of a rock star not going that extra mile, not achieving? That's all I do. Throughout my day, I'm only with that attitude. So, you never think. In some way, you have this winning mind when you get to whatever you do. So that's all I do. Keep it simple, but it helps. Some of you should try it. So, now see, this is a very interesting chart. Now, in our complaint complement grid, there are things which are high on complaint, high on complement, which are called critical differentiators for the hotel. Low on complement, high on complaint, dissatisfier and rager. Let me give you an example. Suppose today I came into this room, I'm addressing all of you. There's air conditioning. But am any of us mentioning, oh, what beautiful air conditioning? It's low on compliment. But if the air conditioning fails, I'm going to be mad. So it's low on compliment, but high on complaint. Suppose the lighting is there, nobody says, oh, what beautiful bright lights. No, but if the lights start flickering and fails, you get enraged. So those are, in your service quadrant, you have to think of what are the things that are low on compliment. If it's there, nobody is going to really mention it. But high on complaint. Then you go look at neutral. Neither high on complaint, neither high on compliment, neither low on complaint, low on compliment. Now what could that be? Maybe one flower bud on every table. Okay? If it's there, I'm not going to really compliment it. If it's not there, I'm not complaining. So those are the neutral ones. Right? Then you have the ones which are low on complaint, but very high on compliment. Now why low on complaint is something what she said. It's not in my need. So it's low on complaint, because you're anyway surpassing my need. But it's high on compliment. It is this one. If that fellow had not given me that cloth to wipe my spectacles, I wouldn't complain. I wouldn't say, what a rubbish is there. My spectacles are fogged. But it is a wow. The other day I checked into a hotel. I was sneezing. I was checking in and sneezing. By the time I reached home, the butler was there. He said, sir, I haven't got your usual champagne. I brought you tom yum soup because it will help you with your cold. What that fellow did, whilst I was checking in, the receptionist called the butler and said, he has a cold, give him hot soup with some, or rasam or something. Fantastic. Now, had he not got me the rasam, I would have complained. But I just said, wow, So that's the kind of thing. The other day I was in a Bangkok hotel, and I was talking to my colleague when I was walking to my room, and my butler was there. And I just told him, I said, in the morning I love banana. So every day of my stay, that butler used to at night put 4 bananas. So, they are thinking, so those are the things which are called the exciters and the satisfiers. But there are some things which are your critical differentiators, which are high on complaint, high on compliment. Can you tell me give me some example of high on complaint, high on compliment? Sorry? Price is a trade-off. No, it's a service angle. What it could be high on complaint, high on compliment. Absolutely. I'm saying somebody, you're attending a sit-down dinner and exceptional service by the chefs and, carving the fish and high on compliment. But at that same dinner, suddenly one course has come, then the other course is not coming. He's served his soup, he's served main course, a complete disaster, high on complaint as well. So any form of going through a service which relies 100% on the human element could be your critical differentiators. Your personalization which you are able to give on any act that you do. You have a look at, say you order a pizza. Now, if the pizza comes in 15 minutes and it's just done to the turn as to how you like it, you say, wow, it's great service and great food. But if that same pizza is delayed or it comes cold, you throw it away there, right? So it's critical differentiators. So today, those are very important things. So I think we need to see which are our critical differentiators and which are our dissatisfiers and enragers, and which are the satisfiers and the wow. The wow comes from the one I just told you. So what they say is have equal competition on your dissatisfier as far as your competition is concerned. Be always better on your criticals and you be way ahead on your satisfiers. The whole story is being way ahead of your competition on your satisfiers and exciters, which is the other side of the wand, which is unexpressed. The guy checking in with a little cold gets greeted with a rasam. It's tremendous. The other day, one guest told one of our guest relations that, I'm going back, I'm in a hurry because I haven't seen my children for a long time and I'm going back home. So she just asked him casually, how old are your kids? Oh, they're twins of 3 years old. What she did is she made sure that she wrapped a beautiful gift for both the kids and gave it to him when he was leaving. So these things touch people's heart because they're unexpressed wishes, but you are able to do the vows at moments of truth. So here, after this, you categorize as zero error, which is critical. You basically induct value addition, which is the wow factor. Between your satisfiers and your surpassing to customer delight, this is what you do after you identify them. And then you set your standards. See, because if your processes are not right, for any little thing that happens in a hotel, we create an operating procedure. Because we realize that it should be then not one individual champion, but it has to be a team champion. Everyone has to follow the new process. And then with the training and then the repeat, etc., you make sure that you're able to. Like, we have a process in our hotels. When the butler brings the morning tea, first thing he'll do is he'll draw the curtains, he'll lay out the newspapers, then he'll offer to make the tea, etc. So you create that. It's a service design. When he serves you, he tells you, sir, I'm Rakesh, I'm your server for today. I'll be serving you, and please let me know how long will you take to allow me to come and take your tray off, because the guest is going to sleep after this. It's Indian food, it will smell in the room. So all this is a part of a process. It's all a process. So you set standards, then you allow executional latitude, standard driven, not performance. Balances personalization and efficiency. Now, different types of organizations. One organization is called the freezer. It's a limited arena. Now in this, every organization has a procedural dimension and a convivial dimension. Now, this organization that we are talking about, you can see the slightly darker shade is the room for improvement. This organization is in the middle in procedure and in the middle of convivial. So they are procedurally slow, inconsistent, disorganized, chaotic, inconvenient. And in the convivial, they are again inconsistent, insensitive, apathetic, aloof, uninteresting. Now, this is normally the message to the customer goes, we don't care. And many times, and I'm sorry to say it, but it reflects a little bit on our own public sector. ITDC hotels used to be something like this, where people say low on convivial, low on procedural, right? Then there is the factory, skewed towards procedure. Everything is brilliantly done to the T. However, they are timely, they are efficient, they are uniform, but they are insensitive, apathetic, aloof, uninterested. So you are a number, we are here to process you. Right? So the guest feels, yeah, sab kuch hai, lekin something very critical is missing. That is the human touch. Then there is the friendly zoo, very high on convivial, but low on procedure. So they are slow, so the order of the room service will come very slow, inconsistent, chai manga, usme chini nahi aayi, disorganized, chaotic, inconvenient. But, sir, I'm so sorry, they'll touch your feet, they'll massage your shoulders, one very personal, will tactful, etc. Sir, aapko free dinner de denge, spa le lijiye, whatever. So, suddenly, there's a huge room of improvement for the procedural dimension. People, this is a kind of we are trying hard, but we don't really know what we are doing. So again, this is very poor process, but great empowerment, etc. The full balance of an organization is where they approach perfection, where they are high on procedure and process as well as high on convivial. So they are timely, efficient, uniform, and they are friendly, personable, interested, tactful. So for them, they say we care and we deliver. Right? So that is the way we move towards now the last one, which is technology. So technology, some of the thoughts were you deploy technology without contaminating service, like I just explained to you. So low touch versus high touch. Must enhance guest. So whatever technology you use, it must enhance guest perception of service, never intrude. Free up hotel staff to spend more time with the customer. That's why in our back of the house or areas where the customer is really not interacting that much, we use a lot of technology so that our people are freed up to be guest bound and not desk bound. Okay? So in-room technology should serve, not challenge the guest. Not make the iPod so bloody technical that you need to have a PhD to actually first learn how to operate it. That should happen. It has to be user friendly, must be, in a way that it's efficient. Service guarantee. You all know what is service guarantee. When you order pizza from Domino's, what do they tell you? 30 minutes or you don't? Many organizations do. They have service guarantees. So, in the US, service guarantee is unconditional, easy to understand and communicate, meaningful, easy to invoke, easy to collect. Alright? So bugs, burger, bug killers. These were bug killers, pest control people. They used to say, you don't owe 1 penny until all pests on your premises have been eradicated. If you are ever dissatisfied with this service, you will receive a refund for up to 12 months of the company's services, plus fees for another exterminator of your choice for the next year. Now tell me, if I tell you this, why won't you give me the contract? Right? If a guest spots a pest on your premises, BBBK will pay for the guest's meal or room, send a letter of apology and pay for a future meal or stay. If your facility is closed down due to presence of roaches or rodents, BBBK will pay any fines as well as all lost profits plus $5,000. This is an actual company in the US. So service guarantee is a very important thing as long as you are very sure that you can do it 10 on 10. Appropriate language. This is a very important part of service excellence. Words, tone, diction, body language. And I remember I was at British Airways and I was in the queue for buying my ticket. No, for getting my boarding pass. And I was in one line and I could see this lady, she was checking everybody in like this. Always on the phone, and her head was always down, and tuck, tuck, and I could see that she was taking her own sweet time, and she had no eye contact, there was no expression. You know, it was like, you're a number and I'm processing you. I said, man, it doesn't look right. Let me go to the next queue was longer. I said, let me go there. I think this is going to cause problem. I went to the next one, and I was 6th on the queue. And this girl, while she was handling this one, she looked up with her eyes, you know, she just gave me that little hint of recognition that I'm there. Don't worry, I'm going to make sure that we come through fast. That eye contact made sure that I knew that I'm now in good hands. So, essentially, this language that we speak about, it is said that the tongue has no bones and can bend both ways. Words may lie, but the body seldom does. Of what we communicate, body language is 70%. You know, if I was communicating with all of you by having zero eye contact, you know, I remember I shake hands with some people. That guy shakes hands like this, and I'm there. You know? So, you know, I don't understand. Or, you know, there's no eye contact. Or they hide behind some podium, and he's like this. You know. So that tells you that, what is this? I'm close. Not giving any feedback, I'm very defensive, and some people are open. You know, it's like I'm human. You know, I make mistakes, but I'm human. I'm ready to learn. Now, body language is 70% of this entire process of language, right? So, tone is 20%, actual word is 10%. All information reaching the brain can only enter via the 5 senses. Eye transmits 85%, ears 10%, others 5%. So essentially it tells you how important body language is in certain sections. Rater. You know, there was a very famous author, 3 authors, one of them is an Indian, Parsuram and Zethmal. They are the gurus of service quality in the US. And they coined the word called rater. So, as an outgrowth of their work in developing the 10 determinants of service quality, Berry, Parshuraman and Zethmal distilled the list to 5 broader categories. Although they called this set serve qual, the 5 elements can easily be remembered through the acronym rater. Now, what is rater? Reliability. Did you get it right again? You know, accuracy. Do you get it right first time? You know, do you get it right first time? Tangible. Is it there? Does it work? You know, you can have this most beautiful tap, but if the damn shower is not working in the right way, what's the point? Empathy. Do you connect emotionally? Responsiveness. If you messed up, you fix it well. Now, these are the rater basically makes the difference between a good hotel and a great hotel. And this is all about service quality. Now from the service design we come to failure mechanisms. Many organizations make a serious mistake when they compile statistics on customer satisfaction and dissatisfaction. They equate the number of complaints with the number of dissatisfied customers, and they presume that those customers who do not complain are satisfied. That's the biggest mistake. I remember there was this manager of a hotel who said, oh, today I only had one dissatisfied customer. What you don't realize that most customers don't complain. They just don't come back. They never return. The ones who complain are the ones who actually want to come back. And they want to tell you that listen to me, otherwise I'm gone. So studies reveal that on average for each customer who was wrong, there are 25 others who remain silent. The studies claim that each person in this silent majority will, by word of mouth, tell between 8 to 16 people, an average of 12 of their complaints. Over 10% will tell more than 20 people. When you do a math, a potential 300 people can be influenced by just one negative situation. Here is what that factor means to Southwest Airlines. Last year we heard from about 60,000 customers who were dissatisfied with some aspect of the experience with us. Happily, employee commendations outnumbered complaints by 5 to 1. 60,000 wronged Southwest customers into 25 silent majority is 15 lakh possible dissatisfied Southwest customers. Now that's how you have to do your math. Now if there's 1.5 million dissatisfied Southwest customers, they have talked to 12 others of their experience. You have a crore and 80 lakh potential influenced Southwest customers. Do you think that 18 million is enough customers to put us out of business? And when you compare that to 18 million potentially lost or never reached customers with the 3 million which accounted for our total 1994 profit, the significance of each and every customer becomes even more apparent. There is, however, a positive aspect of customer complaints. The aforementioned research also indicates that if you make a sincere effort to remedy complaints and regain customers' goodwill, 82 to 95% of the customers come back to you. See, ladies and gentlemen, it takes 1/5 to retain an old customer. 1/5 of the cost. 5 times more to get a new customer. So if you have retention and loyal customers, you are actually spending 1/5 of what you would do to get new customers. Now this .com age, a significant development arising out of the popularity of the World Wide Web is the importance of word of mouth as influence on the customer selection of a hotel. Yes, as the telephone and telegraph advanced the concept, the www will expand its influence and effect. See, today it is viral. One fellow starts tweeting or puts it on Facebook or social media. It rapidly spreads like cancer. So, more and more organizations and service want this situation to spread their positive goodwill. But then it can work the other way too. That's how sensitive this entire thing has become. And that's why you have to respond very quickly so that it doesn't come to that. Normally they do that when they see that it's going from bad to worse. Errors are inevitable, but dissatisfied guests are not. So if there's a potential gap in service quality, you basically look at the gap analysis of where are the gaps between promise and delivery. Now, what was the perceived perception of the service? What was expected of the service? What you actually got as a delivery? And then, you basically induct some service quality specifications and ensure that there's a truthful management perception of consumer expectation. As I told you earlier, many times management doesn't really realize what is the expectation of the customer. So unless you don't know that, between the consumer and the marketer, there is always this gap, and that results in huge gaps in service quality. There's a promise being made out there, and if the delivery is not right, not going to happen. The other day I remember one sales manager telling somebody, "Sir, please come. We have this beautiful suite with a hot water jacuzzi in your room." This guy comes there with all, he says, "Yeah, we'll all come." They come there, it's not. So, sometimes you have to make sure that whatever one says has to be, there should be no gap between what you should actually, from iPod, see the age of iPod today, you have to go into UPod. What is UPod? You all know iPod. So what is UPod? I keep telling all of us to move from iPod to UPod. UPod is under promise over deliver. So, that is most important. At the end of the day, you have to under promise and over deliver. That is then you will be able to bridge any gap in service quality. So the focus of quality control shifts from zero defects in products to zero defections of customers. Because we talk of the lifetime value of a customer. Many times we say, "Oh, I lost this one customer, so what?" But that one customer actually has a family of 4. Alright? Now, he is 40-year-old. You expect him to at least be around to use your hotel till say for 40 years of lifetime value. And that his children and his family start using you. Right? Then, in this, at 40, he is also the head of one of the companies where he can influence people to go and stay for another 30 years. So you suddenly work out that one customer who actually paid a 500 rupee coffee in the coffee shop, actually you lost a lifetime value of I don't know how many million rupees. So I think you have to look at the lifetime value of a customer. Turning the $150 customer into a $100,000 customer. Lifetime value is increased by working on a combination of some or all of the following variables. We call it profit. Period remaining, So from 40 referrals, how many people he can refer to. Overall group size, frequency of visit, income potential, time spent, length of stay, etc. Total spend. Now, so if you see examples of customer lifetime value, frequent business traveler, 20 years, 4,80,000 lifetime value, $500 per trip into 48 trips into 20 years. So that's how they're looking at it. They're not looking at that $500 only. They're looking at 5 lakh. Pizza, 20 years, 4,000. Coca-Cola, 20 years, $11,000. And so on, luxury hotel. So you have to look at the lifetime value of that customer, not that amount of check that he's just paid you and he's had a bad experience, right? I'm not saying don't serve our senior citizens, so you must, but still, this is very important to look at service in this way. Now, this is a very important, although this is from the cellular industry, it is very important understanding your customer. In every organization, customers are put into these blocks. There are the mercenaries, there are the apostles, there are the terrorists, there are the hostages. Alright? So, terrorists are low on loyalty and low on satisfaction. They are customers who are disappointed in their business relations with your company and tell everybody about their bad experience. Even if they come and stay with you, they say, I go to Taj, this hotel, this. They just keep terrorizing because they are not loyal to you and they are dissatisfied with you from a preordained perception. So these are the terrorists and you must identify who they are. Then you have the mercenaries. They are very low on loyalty but high on satisfaction. They are happy and contented customers who are not loyal to any company. They tend to daily shop around. Like which one will give me the lowest price and compare. Who will give me airport transfers? They will compare. They are always looking out for the better opportunity. Normally in Calcutta they have these very astute Marwadis who say, Munafo mein khato. So, they are these kind of who say that where do I get my maximum this day? Then you come to hostages. Who are they? They are dissatisfied customers. I have to go to Calicut. Now only SpiceJet takes me there because there's only SpiceJet flying. But I'm so unhappy with them because of service. The day Jet Airways starts flying to Calicut, because I'm a hostage. I'm right now like a hostage. I have no other choice. What do? This hotel is just, I come out of my office and this hotel is there. I can walk. And today's traffic, I'm a hostage, I just go there. But the day they say, there's one more hotel coming up, I'll shift. So who are your hostages? You have to identify them. They are dissatisfied customers who don't have the opportunity to change their supplier due to existing barriers and are the target for competitors entering the market. Apostles are the best guys. These are highly contented, loyal customers whose contact with potential customers is more valuable than any sales force. They are best ambassadors. वो जहाँ भी जाएगा तारीफ करेगा. अरे best, this, that, go there. ITC hotels is better than home. It's this, it's that. Now wherever they go, they will sing praises for your organization. These are your apostles, and you must recognize who they are. They are opposite, completely opposite of the terrorists. So it's very important for every organization, when they have 100 customers, they must know which ones are in what block. So this, of course, is again it's a customer typology in the Indian cellular thing. But they say that this is the mix of percentage of the apostles, mercenaries, terrorists. Alarmingly, the terrorists are quite high. Now, continuous quality enhancement. How good is good? They say when you think about quality, consider the effect of 99.9% error-free performance. You will think 99.9 tremendous. Yeah, so 99.9% is the best. However, let me tell you, 99.9% error-free performance rate across all. What it would mean, would it mean universal excellence? See for yourself. If you had 99.9% excellence in the world, it would still permit 20,000 wrong drug prescriptions each year. Unsafe drinking water 1 hour per month. No electricity, heat or water for 8.6 hours per year. Too short or long landings at major airports each day. 2,000 lost articles of mail per hour. This is 99.9%. This has been done by research. What is 99% quality? Every 3 days, one guest checks out without paying his bill. That every day, 20 orders of fried eggs have human hair in it. That's 99%. That every day the drinks of 40 guests get mixed up. That every day 20 guests do not get back right laundry. Chaos. In this 1% failure, there's so much chaos. So that's how good is good. The human factor, a Tunisian proverb, the difference between a desert and a garden is not water, it's man. Each act of human delivery changes nature's experience of product. So, keeping in mind that it's all about people and their importance, what do different companies call their associates? Disney calls their associates cast. Southwest Airlines calls them associates. McDonald's calls them the crew. Starbucks calls them partners. They revise the employee-customer profit model chain, basically telling you a happy employee will bring a happy guest. A happy employee will bring a happy customer. So basically you have to make sure that the environment in your own organization is warm, sincere, and caring for your internal customer as well as your external customer. Because if your internal customer is in a happy frame of mind, he or she has a winning mind, then you'll have happy external customers. Shows you how you get a return on assets, operating margin, everything goes much higher. Now the attitude, moving towards a compelling place to shop, a compelling place to work, a compelling place to invest. So this basically shows you how 5-unit increase in employee attitude drives 1.3 unit increase in customer impression, drives 0.5% increase in revenue. So a grocery store clerk, tired of his job, quit to become a traffic policeman. After a few days, a friend asked him how he liked his new job. He said the pay and hours aren't so good, but at least the customer is always wrong. So there's only one industry, the policeman. You can say that the customer is always wrong. So this guy, he had not the right attitude for being, in the service business, so he became a policeman. So outstanding service is not the result of an extraordinary employee who goes out of his way to please. It has its roots firmly entrenched in a culture with well-defined values where customer satisfaction is not a ritual but a belief. So recruitment, as I mentioned to you, attitude preferred to experience. It is attitude and not aptitude that determines altitude in life. Personality, social skills, eagerness and ability to get along with others. Many times I tell everyone, my vocation is my vocation, and my vocation is my vocation. So, recruitment the Disney way, they call it service. So, smile, eye contact, respectful welcome, value the magic, initiate guest contact, create service solutions, efficiency is critical. They do all these things when they check on recruiting. I know an organization that prior to, what happens is that many times when you interview somebody and you like that person invariably, 50% of them, when they go back, they've got the job from you, the earlier employer raises his or her salary, gives some promotion, and the person doesn't join. Now why does this happen? I know organizations, when a particular department associate is joining, he normally joins after 1 month, when the induction is happening. Now, after the first interview is over, the final interview is over, the department head concerned, say you're employed a restaurant steward, the department head, the F&E manager, after 5 days calls him, says, listen, welcome to our family, just want to know how you're doing, how is your disengagement and with your earlier organization going on? How do you want to just meet up in a bar and have a chat? And you suddenly connect. This is my mobile number. You need anything, call me. Then 1 week before the person is joining, again the F&B manager calls and says, what time will you come? And what time are you entering? Come from our back door. By when the fellow comes, immediately even the security is alerted. They all say welcome, give a little rose or bouquet. The guy suddenly feels, I'm great, this is fantastic. And the F&B manager is waiting there at the gate and takes him inside to the HR head. And this guy completely feels that what a lovely place I've come to. Versus somebody who's completely, after 1 month he comes and nobody recognizes him. They say, what have you come for? He said, I got a job. 1 month ago I got this offer letter. So, nowadays organizations are ensuring that they're creating such a beautiful environment that the young ones, the new ones who join, don't feel that they're in a hostile environment. That, there's always a buddy and a mentor attached. Suddenly, they say, wow, I'm at ease. The moment you are at ease, you are enjoying yourself. But if you are wary and, people are saying, the whole thing is all about creating an environment which is warm, sincere and caring. So, look at this. Potential Disney recruits are first interviewed for 15 to 30 minutes on the phone and given substantial information about what Disney expects from employees. This is prior to the interview or casting members as they are. This process deters 50% of would-be recruits, so 50% drop off. The next step is the casting center where Disney tries to take some of the fears and nerve out of the interview. The doorknob to the interview room is from Alice in Wonderland. Once inside, employees are shown a video which details salary rates, what their appearances should be, the type of work schedule they might have, and the need for personal transport. This is before interview. A further 16 to 18% say, thank you very much, they opt out. Those who are hired or cast in a role are then taken through the induction program known as traditions. So in restaurants, we hire only married men. They are used to taking orders. Like that. So this is a recruitment VIP. So essentially, as I was explaining to you, this is just telling you how attitude adds up to 100, whereas the others are all on the 90s or 80s. Okay, now let's go to training. So you make the training fun, standards and procedures, allow executional latitude, don't dehumanize, blend technology in low-touch areas. So in conclusion, organizational mission and philosophy, if we don't know where we want to go, any road will do. There was this thing about this gentleman who was standing in the middle of the crossroad and there's one road going this way and one way. He asked this guy, he says, where does this road go? So he says, where do you want to go? I don't know. So you don't know where you want to go, take any of them. At the end of the day, you must know which road that one is taking, right? So, first is the organizational mission and philosophy, and then a service strategy with customer focus and value which we created. Then you set standards, be consistent but empower. What gets measured gets managed. This is very important. If you don't measure everything that you do in various actions, you cannot manage. But if you measure everything, you will manage well. Service recovery, it's an art. Complaint is a gift. Many times a guest comes into a hotel, as I showed you the magic chart, everything is working smooth. He goes out, he's had a great stay, but he's not met a single person. So you ask him, how was your stay? Very good, as usual. But then he has a problem. Maybe suddenly the lights stop working. And then the human element gets in. What I said is the moment of truth. And this person gets the guest so happy and says that, listen, I'm your single window, anything you want, this is my mobile number. Suddenly he goes around saying, man, go back to that hotel because it is Suresh's hotel, this boy who works there. So it suddenly, from a complaint, it becomes a gift. So that's why they say a complaint is a gift. Quality improvement plan is very important, which we just saw. Then emphasis on human organization, which is recruitment, training, retaining, and retraining. Basics, basics, basics. Ladies and gentlemen, small little story about how important the basics are. There once lived a king, very benevolent fellow, who was loved by all in the kingdom. One day an army came and overran the kingdom's castle, making off with half the treasury. The king decided to tell the people he had to increase taxes to make up for the loss. He called in one of his court's wise men. "How can I break the news without inciting a revolt?" he asked the wise man. The wise man pondered and came up with a gentle way of explaining the theft as a tragedy for the entire kingdom, and imploring the people for their support. It went over well. Time passed, and once again neighboring army raided the castle, this time carting away much of the food stored for the winter. Once again king called upon his wise men. By this time he had been promoted as the director of wisdom and laid bare the facts. "What can I tell my subjects this time?" the king asked. "They will lose confidence in me if I can't defend the kingdom's food and money." Again the wise man pondered. He advised the king to be frank about the loss, but to say only that it had gone to a neighboring kingdom, that they needed it desperately. The king told the people and asked them to work even harder on the coming harvest. They did, and all was well. By this time, the neighboring army was getting good at raids. Once again they struck, hauling away horses, hay, more food stock, and most of the royal jewels. Once again the king summoned his advisor, the vice president of wisdom and sage advice. This time the king was despondent. "They raid the treasury, they take our food, they steal our livestock," the king wailed, "and the queen is going to kill me about those jewels. You are my most trusted advisor. What shall I do?" The wise man hesitated. Then he said, "I think, my lord, I think the time has come to put water back in the moat." You see, the basic thing was the castle had a moat around it and the water had dried up, and that's how the armies used to come and raid them. The basic thing was to put water back in the moat. But they did all kinds of stories, taxes, this, that. Sometimes, we deploy such things, but we are forgetting our basics. The basic thing was that this moat was due to protect the kingdom from any raids, right? Now, ladies and gentlemen, in this short discourse that we just had, it tells me one thing that I always like to share at the end of my presentation is that there's this true story of a wise old man. There was this village, a prosperous village, which used to meet every day at 4 p.m. The village would meet, and there was a wise old man. And any problem that the villagers had, they would ask the wise old man. And the wise old man would invariably, because of his genius, he would solve them. And they would go back very happy, and the wise old man was always the most respected individual in the village. Now there were these two youngsters who, because of big land holding in the village, they went abroad. They went to MIT and studied and all, came back. And they were drinking in the room one day in the village, and they said, "Listen, this cannot go. Why should this wise old man be the most popular man? This is a new age. We youngsters should now rule this entire village." So that the other guy said, "Yeah, that's true. How do we do this?" He says, "By proving him wrong. Let us go tomorrow in the entire, when everybody is there, when it's completely full, let us go and ask him a question which he can't answer." That other guy said, "Brilliant idea." So, but then after one drink, he said, "But what is the idea?" He said, "Listen, you know what I will do? I will take one pigeon behind my back, and I will go to the wise old man, and I will tell him, 'Wise old man, is the pigeon dead or is the pigeon alive?'" He says, "So what? If he says, pigeon is dead, you just make the pigeon fly." He says, "No." He says, "If he says it's dead, I'll just make him fly. But if he says he's alive, I'll have my other hand on the neck of the pigeon, I slowly turn it anti-clockwise and show that the pigeon is dead." Brilliant, foolproof plan. He said, "Let's try it tomorrow when the village is full. This will make him disgrace, and we will then take over from the day after." So this happened. All the questions were being asked. Wise old man was answering them. This man comes to the wise old man, and he says, "Wise old man, I have a pigeon behind my back. Can you tell me, is the pigeon dead or is he alive?" Wise old man looks at this youngster and he says, my son, whether it is dead or it's alive, it's all in your hands. So ladies and gentlemen, at the end of the day, it's all in your hands. Service excellence is all an attitude. Service excellence is all about how you come out today with the winning mind. Service excellence is like a one-day match every day. You play, you give it your best, you might lose, you might tie, but tomorrow's another match and you win it, and the day after another match. So that is the true service excellence, and at the end of the day, it is essentially having the right coaches, hiring the right people, making sure that at the end of the day, each of them consistently have the right attitude, the right technology, and empowerment. So on that note, I'd like to say thank you to all of you for your patient listening, like the Kenwins and not taking them to the zoo. And it's been a pleasure impressing all of you, and I hope I've been able to add some value to already your brilliant team. Thank you very much. If there's any questions, please fire away, and I'll be happy to attend them.
Empowerment at what level is it?
See, I'll tell you, I'll give you an example. Some hotels, I'll mostly give you examples from the hotel industry. So what we do is we empower levels. So the bellboy is empowered on a night where a guest checks in and he's dissatisfied with his room. He's empowered to upgrade to the next room. He's empowered to give a fruit basket and some chocolates. The concierge is empowered a little more in the, he can offer a free airport transfer. So there are various ways and means of the restaurant steward is empowered to give a complimentary dessert. The restaurant captain or the manager is empowered if he feels that there has been a gap between promise and delivery. He is empowered to even compliment the meal if required. Empowerment basically is done on levels, but if you can see that young receptionist, he was empowered with a certain level, but he went beyond, and he went there to Singapore and actually did it. Now see, empowerment should not be abdication. What we do is we have systems of feedback. So the guy immediately does it, but then he comes back and he does an end of shift report. He says, I've done these things, and this was my target. Now what we encourage is, we don't discourage him, but we tell him where he might have gone wrong. Okay. So each move is at the end of the day a shift review, so that you review your empowerment. And empowerment again should be crisp. Now suppose you are empowered to do something, there should be a proper audit of what is the empowerment done and has it tangibilized to the empowerment at that level. But they feel that at least they are part of the decision making and they are able to satisfy or delight the customer. So that's how empowerment is.
How to get wow from terrorist customer?
See, terrorist is a customer that you need to be aware of. You must know who is the terrorist, because terrorist for you will be very difficult to wow, because no matter what you will do or say, he will still criticize. So it's very important to be aware of the terrorists so that you know who your terrorists are. Otherwise, you might be just doing things down the tube which is not going to be appreciated. But it's important to know.
How do you separate them out?
You'll be able to. You see, that's why you need to keep engaging with the customer. You must know what kind of feedback this person is doing. You have to be close to your customer. You have to see the kind of interactions he's having and his body language. His body language will tell you that he's a terrorist as far as your organization is concerned. So it's more, it's not anything which is really tangible, but the moment he checks in, you'll get to know that this fellow is trying to create a problem. So you have to handle them also with care, because you have to just see that it goes through. But you know he's not going to come back. But as long as you can at least meet all the things in the right way, that's it. Like Ritz-Carlton says, we are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. You can't be subservient. When you say we are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen, you're immediately giving your internal customer the stature that they deserve. So that is also very important. So they also feel very good. We are ladies and gentlemen serving ladies and gentlemen. Now when they say serving ladies and gentlemen, they are very clear that even the customer must behave as ladies and gentlemen. Yeah? So there is a limit that they will tolerate and no more. Anybody who has a question on moment two, please.
Well, the question is that what we would like to say regarding transparency and confrontation at that time.
Say it again.
Transparency and confrontation at that time. We are talking about moments of truth. So there is some sort of confrontation and transparency also required at that time. So what do you have to say on that?
See, I'll tell you. Moment of truth, all the magic at the last 3 steps, is basically that interaction or opportunity which that individual is getting to show how great his organization or how world-class his service is or her service is. Now, a moment of truth could be a really bad moment of truth, somebody who's cut himself and fallen, or has somebody who's had really bad service, or just a simple moment of truth which is that, listen, I have lost my baggage, I'm here in your hotel, now tell me what do I do? Or I've left my passport in my safe and I've already taken off, tell me what should I do? These are all moments of truth. These are, and how well you respond to, like that concierge who responded in that moment of truth, or somebody who essentially has left his, the baggage is all misplaced. Now what we did in a moment of truth, which then became a operating procedure, what this person did, he got this call from the airport rep and he said, you know, this guest is on his way, it takes 1 hour to come from the airport. Now, please do something, doesn't have any baggage. Baggage is coming, British Airways or Discreets. Now what we did, we formulated at that time what was called, and one of our housekeepers did, she got the call and she made what is called distress kit. So in the distress kit, there is the nightwear, there are the essential toiletries, there is the 1 shirt, 1 trouser, you know, for the next day's change. Because normally baggage gets 24 hours. So in that 24 hours, what are the things that this guest would require? Right from the toothpaste to the shaver to the hand brush to everything that possibly that could happen. The hotel did that and made a beautiful basket, kept it in the room. And said, this is your distress kit, and you know, handle it till we get your baggage. And then of course, you know, we called the British Airways and got it back. So essentially, hotel didn't have to really do anything. They said, okay, fine, we'll help you get your baggage. So this poor fellow is without anything. There was a guest of ours who lost his wallet. And suddenly, you know, he clears. And then how in that moment of truth we reacted. But we also understood the lifetime value of this customer. And then we reacted. So for a moment of truth, firstly you have to be a very good listener. Secondly, you need to take charge. You need to own that. See, today, if you are telling me something, I own this problem or I own this conversation. So if you've told me you're going out and you say, listen, I'm going out in the morning, I'm going to office. I am very upset because my air conditioner is not cooling as much as it should. Very good. So I got your complaint. Now a normal person calls up the engineering and says room number 2214, air conditioning not working. Right. Now my shift is till 2 p.m. You come back at 6 p.m. to your room. You don't see me. However, if it's not working, you tell somebody else, saying, I told somebody in the morning, you know, normally it happens like that. Now, moment of truth is that you've told me. So firstly, I make sure it's done. I not only tell the engineering, I go up and see the room is fixed to where the temperature is perfect, where I actually witness it. In our parlance, we call it Gemba. Gemba is like an FIR, you visit the site, you know, and you do a Gemba and see, yes, it's working. Then I leave a note for the guest or a phone message to say, sir, my name is Ranveer. I have attended to your thing. I hope you are satisfied. However, now I'm off shift, but my friend Suresh is now on duty. His number is so and so. The moment you come back, please do let him know if it's done to your liking, or Suresh will come up and again resolve it. So that is the moment of truth where the guest says, man, this organization works. So those are moments of truth are opportunities to, it's actually, they don't say this individual works, they say this organization is very efficient. It's got some great processes, you know. So, point I'm telling you is that firstly, when you have any situation, you must take charge. You know, that I take charge, I own this problem, I own this feedback. And now I will ensure that it's like a trapeze act. You know, in this, that's why there's no individual champion. You are dependent on that plumber who has to fix the WC or the AC mechanic who can fix it, you know. So it's like a trapeze act. Now what you spoke about transparency. What is the trapeze? You all have gone at some point of time to the circus. When the trapeze artist, 100 feet in the air, leaves that trapeze and flies into the air, why does he do that?
Yes,
Because he has complete trust that there are another pair of hands waiting to hold him. And then the whole process, the other one leaves, and two of them together fly in the air, and which could be near-death experience. But they know there's always 100% a hand waiting to hold him. It is this trust that builds in that organization, and it's like a trapeze that this whole system works. So these are a set of moments of truth. That leaving the trapeze and flying in the air is a moment of truth, because the hand is there to hold it. So that, ladies and gentlemen, is what, I feel is very important in your day-to-day life. Secondly, try to be that double bagger and ask yourself, who am I and what am I doing here? Try it 5 times in 5 days. But your answer of who am I is the same. But what am I doing here? What is my role? Try and change it every day. Like he said, I am the host. Somebody said, I lift baggage. Then somebody said something else. You keep creating roles for yourself. Then you realize, say, I'm doing the same job. Many times you say, I'm doing the same job for so long. But if you're like a double bagger, you will suddenly create so many roles for yourself